welcome, and thank you for joining us today. So I'm going to start out with some questions, and I'll read you the first question. If you could introduce yourself and what system you're with and your role in that system. So our first question is really, how do you see education transforming with tech into an experience-based environment for learning? And what interests you the most about what's happening with tech transition in schools?
Dr. Solis, Judith Solis, San Antonio ISD. I'm under the Office of School Leadership, and I think if I can just look at it one more time, what excites me, what's happening, is that we're really paying attention to the needs of the students, and it's not about the adults. But in doing so, you have to pay attention to the adults, because sometimes the hardest people to get engaged in something like we just got engaged in that game, it's the adults and our mindset, and it's how we deliver instruction. So for me personally, as a member of a really transformational and innovative district, we're really thinking out of the box and how can we reach all kids and all learners. We have a tremendous department that helps us tremendously. We have a chief of technology officer that is amazing, has brought in technology to our schools several years ago, and I know I'm rambling, but I'm so excited about what's happening. I read all my emails, and I read an opportunity to apply for a project that was going to transform some schools, and I purposely selected some schools that didn't have technology, even though they had STEM attached to it, and to see the magic happening at middle school with kids and teachers that were stuck in their way. And I always come up to them and say, you're half my age, come on, get with the program. The kids are learning quicker than you are, and I have a style. The superintendent always tells me, I don't know how you do it, but you make people think about what they're gonna do. But to see the magic of how middle schoolers are starting to look at technology, not as that FaceTime that you're just playing a game or doing whatever, but actually using it as a tool. So for me, it's changing times. We need to get with the ball, get with the program. So thank you for having us here and really dialoguing, because we are at the cusp of doing some great things for kids, and that's what excites me as a leader.
Hi, I'm Dr. Karla Burkholder. I'm the Director of Technology for, yes, there's an acronym, SCUC ISD. We are...
That much shorter, Karla.
That's a little much. I am over all things technology in our district, networking, technical support, instructional technology. We have phenomenal people in all of those areas, and it's amazing what we're able to get done with a very, very tight number of people. They're amazing. What excites me about education is the whole idea of innovation and change and transformation. We're able to do some pretty exciting things with professional development in our district. We've taken a different approach to some things, conference style, academy, and teachers are really, they love it. They love having voice and choice, much like our students like having voice and choice. So we're trying to model some of the things that we want teachers to feel empowered that they can do as well in their classrooms. What was the other part of the question?
It's really, how do you see education transforming with tech into an experience-based environment?
As far as education transforming into an experience-based environment, I always tell teachers when I talk to them, I always tell leaders when I talk to them, it's never for me, I'm a technology director, but it's never for me about the technology. It's always about the student. But the beauty of it is that it's the technology that enables the transformation. It's the technology that allows them to be creative, to make and share and make connections around the world. So that's the role. I don't see technology being the end all. Teachers matter. They will always matter. But it's the exciting things that technology enables that will help the transformation.
I hate going last. They stole all the good answers. Very well said, both of you. I'm Dr. Roland Rios, the Director of Technology for the Fort Sam Houston Independent School District. We're right outside the gates over here. We're a public school district that resides entirely on a military installation, kind of unique. Like Karla, my responsibilities, when you're in a small district, technology means you're in charge of everything that has a cord or battery. They assume it's under your purview. So I think the thing that excites me most about how technology is transforming education, I refer to it as it's allowing us to tear down walls. It used to be, and we do a lot of work with Phil Schlechte and his writings. Phil Schlechte said in the old days there was two places people got education, at school and at church, or three, and at home. Now you can get education from anywhere. And what technology is allowing us to do is to let these teachers take these kids outside the classroom without ever leaving the classroom. It's allowing us to bring in outside experts into the classroom without ever having them step foot into the classroom, and opening up these wonderful doors of opportunity for our kids that weren't available before. Or if they were available, it took a lot of work. When I was in school, if you wanted to go on a field trip, you had to get the bus, you got to get on the bus, you have to get your sack lunch, go somewhere. Now we can do a Google Meet, a Skype, something, and bring in an expert from outside to talk to the students. And I know you don't want us to say anything bad about schools in general, but I think education in general does a lousy job of using resources outside of the classroom. We just all do. I don't know if we're afraid to ask. I don't know if we're just isolated on this island so we don't go outside. I have yet to find someone that I say, would you mind coming in to talk to the kids about X, Y, or Z? Very rarely do they say, no, I don't want to. They may say, I'm kind of shy about it, but my partner would love to do it. We can always get people to come talk to the kids. We can always find those resources for them, but we have to go out and hunt them down, and technology opens those doors without any limits.
Thank you. Okay, next question. So, what is the most important work that you and at your institution is doing right now?
I think that one of the most important, really the important work that we're doing in the area of technology is because we're a district of innovation and we're really, really going beyond, like you said, beyond the borders of the classrooms. Not only, and you touched on this, giving the teachers voice and choice and opportunities to engage. We have PJs, we have our staff development in PJs on Saturdays. Even I sat there in my PJs and listened to a tremendous training that was going on. So you're providing opportunities to get them to change the way they see things. And as you do that, they're starting to be given the tools. And I like the fact that all our high schools, our seniors, and there was a little bit of controversy. Our senior kid, boys and girls, they got telephones, access, and yes, we had that mindset. What they're going to be accessing, how do we know, how can we control? And they also got data that was substantial to use. How are we going to control that? The program that I alluded to, or I stated about earlier at the middle schools, 4 middle schools got 1-to-1 iPads. And we didn't know how we were going to do that, but it's taught us a lot because now we're going to do that district-wide. But the access, and it's just, we're not afraid to try something different, even though we had some challenges. Right now we're looking at the gaming for the high school kids. We've sat around the table, but the reality is that our superintendent has allowed us and our board is supporting us to go beyond what we think is important, just to move the teacher, move the cheese, like we used to say, move the cheese and challenge people and get beyond their classrooms, and the district is allowing us. That's what excites me. And I tell the young folks, I said, I'm already at the end of towards the end, not quite yet, towards the end of my career. After 38 years, it excites me because I had dial-up in my classroom, my personal computer, just to show kids what it looked like, and it was bad. The Apple IIe, or I don't even remember what it was called. Right, I think it was, and it was. You could hear the little dial-up. It was a joke. It's a joke in my family now. But now the accessibility of, I just saw this week a 7th grader engaged with a kinder student, showing him how he was controlling a robot with his iPad. So to see that and us giving the access to everyone, it's amazing, from the teacher to the student. And that's what I'm excited about, what's going on in our district.
So in our district, just a little bit of background. We have a very low commercial tax base. We have a lot of rooftops. And what that translates into is we have enough money to do what we need to do, but not enough money to do the other things that we would like to do. Also, that means that we work with a very lean staff. So move forward with innovation, then we have to be very, very creative on our end to make that happen. So we are fortunate that our board sees fit to release funds to us to buy devices, and we're able to now, because guess what, Roland, we're going through some Chromebooks now in my district. We're able to get more, and teachers are excited about that, but we have to be able to build capacity. We have to build capacity for teachers to be able to create those learning experiences for students. So the thing I'm most excited about in my district is that we are doing that. We are, teachers are applying for our academy, and we are not looking for the high flyers. We want some of the teachers that are like, I don't know. And we've had some tell us, you know, I don't really know about this technology thing, but I'm willing to learn. And one of my favorite stories is in our first academy, one of the teachers who was that teacher. I don't really know much about this, but I'm coming to this anyway. She now has her master's degree in instructional technology. And she is a leader on her campus, and she's bringing her staff along, and that is what is exciting to me. That it's the teachers that are leading teachers and are getting them on board, and that helps us move forward in our district.
I think the thing that I'm most excited about what we're doing in the Fort Sam Houston School District is we're building relationships with kids. We've always done that, but we have a dedicated focus. We have a set of collective commitments that we as a district decided these are the 3 things that we need to work on. One of them is blended learning, which kind of tied to what we're doing here. Another's on staff development, but the other one that's most important is building relationships with kids. We can't personalize education if we don't know our who. You can't personalize something for somebody you don't know what they like. You can't buy devices for someone if you don't know what drives them. You can't design instruction if you don't know what excites them. So having an emphasis on getting to know the kids personally is very, very important to us. And I hate to harp on the fact that we're a military installation, but our kids have very unique stressors. All kids have stressors, but our kids have constant mobility. About 1/3 of our kids have a parent deployed right now, in harm's way. It's not like mom or dad are out on vacation. They're on the battlefield. We are a compassionate reassignment installation, which means all of our wounded warriors that are in the burn units, that are amputees, we get their children. So we need to get to know these kids on a personal basis and see how they tick. Once we know the kids, all the rest will fall into place. The technology will work, the curriculum will work, as long as you know who it is you're serving. And we're proud to serve those who serve.
So last question. So given the conversation today, the activity in the game and all the things that we talked about today, what do you think you're going to focus on in the future in the context of what we just talked about?
Gotta go first. One of the reasons we came is because the Learning Council has such a great reputation, and I knew you would get us thinking. The other part of it is that the team that we brought with us is part of our new blended learning team. And we really want to start diving deeper into blended learning. We are taking our sweet time about it. We're doing book studies. We have a small committee of trailblazers. We have 2 of our wonderful teachers with us now, but we've got about 15 to 20 on the team. We're taking baby steps and learning how to personalize, learning how to make that board game come to life. And so we're going to start dipping our toes into that and get this team really well versed into the blended learning, the personalization, using hopefully some of the softwares we've seen today, and slowly start to push that out to the rest of the staff. I think if you just say, everyone's doing blended learning this year, you're going to fall flat on your face. I think you need to take baby steps with it. Give this group that we have right now the permission, even urge them to fail. If things are not going to work, let's find out what works, what doesn't work. And slowly we'll start to see that take hold. But you guys have energized us with some of the ideas and some of the software solutions we've seen. We're excited to take that back.
You know, I think, we talk a lot about having to compete now. We have to compete. There's choice. Whether it's officially schools of choice or not, there's choice. Parents have a choice, students have a choice. We have to learn how to compete. So what I'm going to focus on is taking back this whole message of we have to start rethinking how we do school. We've got to start thinking, what does a schedule look like? Do you need a schedule? We've got to start thinking about specialized positions, and so teachers can teach. It won't happen overnight, but I think if you don't start talking about it, it won't happen at all. So we have a model now, so thank you, Leilani, for that. So I'm going to be sharing that with our leadership team.
Well, I wasn't here this morning, but as soon as I got here, look at this book. You need to read the research, and that's exciting to see the excitement of the group at the table. I think it validates, just from what I got to gather when I got here and start playing the game, it validates the direction that we're going. And you're right, it's about taking teams from where they are and then pushing those that don't quite, like, I like it, but I don't really understand it. And I think that's what our district has done, from the adult to the child, and let's push them. Let's push them to the limit, and let's see what they can create. And that's what I've witnessed in the schools, and I witnessed with the adult learners. So it is exciting, so thank you for the invite.
So I'd like to open up the floor to the audience members and invite questions or ideas that popped into your head as you're listening to the responses.
Integration and bringing technology is one thing. Adoption and usage and outcomes are a completely different story. Based on what you have seen, what are some of the biggest roadblocks you had to overcome from that to that? I'm sure there's a whole bunch. I'd love to see those three different sizes and the cultures of districts that you have. I'd love to hear that. I hope that question makes sense.
It does make sense.
Let me get you the mic, Colin.
We're a large district. I'm under the Office of School Leadership, and I know that I, as a leader, have to continue to show my skill in the use of technology if I want my leaders on the campus to use the technology as well. So every meeting, I model it. Every meeting, I challenge them. I do look at reports, I look at data, so they know that I do loop back to see, are the kids using, show me the product, show me, I want to go and see, I want to go and view, because I visit the classrooms as well. So I think it's very critical that that happen, and that type of system be in place, because we're all at different levels. Because if I sat back and I said, no, just give me paper. I don't want to walk around with my iPad, or I use my watch, my phone, and I'm showing them. What are you doing? No, that's too old-fashioned. Let's go back. You don't need all that paper. And I know that sounds minor, but because I push the leaders, because it has to start with someone, holding people accountable. Like, look, you have these beautiful tools. You're committing, like when we did the VILS rollout through Digital Promise, and I said, okay, it's here. This is what it says. This is the commitment. But you know what this means? This crazy lady's going to be checking. I want to see how that's going to translate into the classroom and into the hands of a child. And it's not just, oh, let me find some, research. It's beyond that. What can you do to create that? So then we saw it change, going into the kids actually creating and controlling robots, and it was just amazing what's happening. So it has to do with what I push and what the expectations are, and do we monitor? And it could be a computer program for credit. It can be whatever it is. I just happen to use the iPad because that was most recent. So that's what I do.
You're leading by example. That is
I have to.
Beautiful.
I have to. I feel like I have to. So this Nana has to continue learning. And I'm an Apple person, and I'm not here advocating for Apple, but I push for that because I understand that, but I have two, a Dell and an Apple. So I try to keep up with everything.
Oh, there's so many. So I think probably one of the biggest barriers is time. We have all this stuff we have to do. I don't have time. And what we really try to do is help teachers understand, well, first of all, I have to work smarter, not harder. And secondly, really students should be owning their learning, and they should be the ones doing the work, so then you free up time, right? So I think for us, that's one of the biggest barriers, is to help teachers understand how this is not just one more thing that we're asking you to do. It's just, oh my gosh, this week I have to go get the cow card on Wednesday. No, that's not integration. So our instructional technology coordinators work very hard with the leadership on the campuses and the teachers to help them understand that it's how to truly integrate the technology, and that it's not just one more thing, and how it can help them free up time.
I wouldn't call this a barrier as much as a challenge, and it kind of piggybacks off what Karla was saying. We are blessed in our district. I know that. We're one-to-one Chromebooks 2nd through 12th grade. We have a CFO that supports all of our efforts. We're not wanting for resources or software. Our challenge is to get those teachers to use technology at a deeper level. And I think that's a challenge everyone has. When you look at the SAMR model, where are they the majority of the time? We use the Clarity Bright Bites survey. I don't know if anyone else does. A couple of years ago, they came out with a new module, and it actually grabbed all your data and told you where you were on the SAMR model. And I remember Janine was Freeman back there, and I said, oh, look, we got our SAMR results, we got our SAMR results. And we opened it up, and both of us went, wah, wah, wah. It was not where we wanted it to be. Do we have pockets of people, teachers, getting to that modification and redefinition? Yes, we do. But it's not happening as often as we'd like to see it happen. I don't know if it's happening as purposefully as we want to see it happen. So it's getting them to take that technology on a deeper level to really transform what's going on in the classroom. That's our big challenge.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give these folks a round of applause, please.